I have to bring up, I can't go anywhere in this world without people stopping me and saying, I'm sorry about Norm Macdonald. And I always think in those moments, because he had so many amazing appearances on my show, and I think, well, the person who really needs to be hearing this is Jim Downey, because you were the one that pretty much holed up with Norm. You identified Norm as a brilliant guy very quickly. You wanted him to do Update. And then you and Norm really crafted that Update, which has become, I think, the iconic performance recognized today as the iconic performance on Update of all time. Norm, you were working with Norm, and there's a quote here I just want to read back to you. What I did like about the way we approached Update was that it was akin to the punk movement, what the punk movement was for music, just stripped down. We did what we wanted. There was nothing there that was considered to be a form of cheating. We weren't cuddly. We weren't adorable. We weren't warm. We weren't going to do easy political jokes that played for clapter and let the audience know we were all on the same side. We were going to be mean and, to an extent, anarchists. And I think that's a perfect distillation of what
I don't know where I said that, but it's Norm basically, the thing with Norm, there were so many, first of all, he was really, really smart. Mm-hmm. He was very intelligent, and he had a great look. I always said about our Update, if you watched it with the sound off, mm-hmm. you couldn't be sure you were watching a comedy broadcast. It could have just been a sort of a low-tech news show, mm-hmm. Like OAN Network or something. It could have been, you know, and it didn't have like a lot of goofy kind of stuff. Yep. And Norm could speak. You could write fairly complicated jokes for him, as long as you had a good writer, good editor, making sure that it wasn't, you didn't give him too many words, because anyone's going to trip over if you create like a little minefield. But Norm could speak. He could speak beautifully. He could land things. He was clipped and precise. His older brother, Neil, is a CBC newscaster. Yeah. And so Norm had what we call the perfect straight line going for in terms of his look. And he just had a great sensibility. Also, he hated easy laughs and what my colleague Seth Meyers, he coined the term clapter. I think he did. I always give him credit.
It was either him or Tina Fey. I can't remember. I'd hear different people. Or Oppenheimer. One of them came up with it.
But clapter is a perfect thing for that kind of like lazy, just finger in the wind kind of, sucking up to the audience.
Trump sucks.
Yeah.
And then you get applause.
We might even agree with that politically, but come on, they deserve more than that kind of shit. So just challenge them with stuff, even if it's going to maybe make them uncomfortable. Like, oh, I don't like laughing at that, but that's fucking funny, so I'm going to have to laugh. You know.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to think of examples of what I'm talking about. But we would do, and of course the OJ jokes.
Well, here's the thing.
Were a huge part of that.
So the OJ trial happens, and OJ, the murders, and then the trial, and it's and this is where I really thought you and Norm Macdonald seize that moment, because you can have the right tool, but if you don't have the right moment, you don't have it. And I always think in any great movement, whether it's the Beatles in '64 or Sex Pistols in '76, you have to have the moment too. You just can't have, the two have to come together. The OJ trial happens, and you and Norm are writing these jokes that are so fucking fantastic. They're just razor blades. And Norm is the perfect person to deliver them. There's one you wrote, which I could try and do, but you might remember it exactly, but it's, a picture came up of Johnny Cochran testifying.
Yeah. I think I know what you're talking about.
And OJ sitting next to him, and Cochran standing there, and he's holding the knit cap.
The knit cap
that was found at the scene. And Norm, in his Norm-esque way, says, well, the defense had a bit of a bad day today at the defense trial when Johnny Cochran testified and held up the knit cap that was found at the scene of the murder. He was going on about the knit cap when suddenly he was interrupted by OJ, who said, hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing cap.
Yeah.
And I remembered that being an ice bullet that went through my heart. It was so...
That's my lucky stabbing hat.
Yeah, it's my lucky stabbing hat. And the thing is, and you know this too, he would say something like that, and I don't know where my camera is. It's there, I guess. That's my lucky stabbing hat. And he would hold in this way that nobody does. Hold and hold and hold. And he would do it for a joke that killed, as that one did. But he'd also do it for a joke that he liked, or that you liked, or that you guys liked.
Yeah.
And if it got nothing...
It was like, it wasn't, some people said, you're punishing the audience for not liking the joke. No, we're giving them enough time to appreciate it. But, it's funny, you mentioned, I decided years later, because you have to have distance on this stuff to realize that a lot of, there was a through line to our OJ jokes, which was him, it was all cell phone stuff.
Yeah.
So that the standard OJ joke would be, so it would like that one you just did. I think the way we got into it was like, though OJ may not have helped his case when he blurted out.
Yes, yeah. Of course.
Hey, easy with that. That's my lucky stabbing hat. But there was one that was like, was OJ Simpson high on drugs the night of the murders? Absolutely not, says a defiant OJ. And a simple test of any of his blood found at the crime scene will prove it. And then there was one like
indignation.
Indignation
is so good.
There was one. When like OJ Simpson had been criticized because the first Mother's Day after the murders, he played golf in Scotland.
Yeah.
And it's like this weekend, OJ Simpson playing golf in Scotland was heavily criticized for missing the first Mother's Day and not spending the first Mother's Day since Nicole Brown Simpson's murder with his children. And angry Simpson responded, idiots, I didn't spend Mother's Day with my kids because I killed their mother. And so it's basically, but there was one, there was one joke, and by the way, it was Frank Sebastiano and Frank wrote a lot of great jokes for that segment, and he's the guy who contributed this joke structure. It'd be like several Navy warships have joined the search for an overturned thing in some of the most shark-infested waters on Earth. Also joining the search, the sharks.
Yeah,
and became like a
there's a one that I remembered, which is the rock group Better Than Ezra, or pop group Ezra. Better Than Ezra came in second, whatever.
This week Rolling Stone released its list of the top 10 college acts on the summer tour. At number 1, Better Than Ezra. Number 2, Ezra.
He also had one that was we could do these forever, but he was talking about kickboxing. And he was just like, and he's doing update. And he said, of course, popular is kickboxing, an incredible martial art that combines whatever, the art of like punching, the martial arts of punching, karate with kicking. And he just stares. And, because kicking on its own sounds like such a lame.
There were two more I wanted to bring up because Norm and I would spend like insane amounts of time obsessing over the precise wording of a joke.
Yeah.
And I remember there was one that I thought actually benefited from our kind of neurotic attention to detail. But it started off as a joke about Penthouse magazine had this cover story, which even if you didn't read Penthouse, you would see the cover on newsstands. And it was, this week, shocking photos, alien autopsy.
Mm-hmm.
This is Penthouse magazine. So they claim to be actual photos of an alien autopsy. So the joke we started out with, which I think would have been good enough, was this week Penthouse magazine released its much-awaited photos of an alien autopsy. According to those who've seen the issue, the photos were sharp, clear, and easy to masturbate to. And so anyway, then I thought, like, you know what? That can be better. There's a better rhythm to that. So I first suggested that it should be, and quote, easy to masturbate to, because I just liked it for rhythm. And then I came up with one of my greatest contributions of the season, which was I added the word surprisingly, so that the joke became kind of different. So it was like, according to those who've seen the advanced copies, the photos are sharp, clear, and quote, surprisingly easy to masturbate to. You got this image of a guy going, at first I didn't think this would work, but God damn it, this is fucking hot.